Welcome back to Let's Play Miles Edgeworth Investigations. I'm Louis64D. In the previous chapter, I think we came to the conclusion of who the real killer is. At least I have a thought, but first I need to go consult somebody. Miss Meal. Miss Meal! Do you recall what you said earlier? About when you answered some service calls as we were departing from Zhengfa. You said that Mr. Hicks was sitting at his seat at that time. However, that is simply not possible. Because Mr. Hicks was dead long before we ever touched down in Zhengfa. Miss Cammy Meal!
Maybe I didn't see what I thought I did.
No one could make a mistake so large, Miss Meal.
But I make that kind of boo-boo all the time.
This is going nowhere. There must be a better way of resolving this contradiction. Very well. Miss Meal, if you please, tell me about your alibi during the time span. From just before we were to land at 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. when the body was found.
You telling me I'm a suspect, Mr. Edgeworth?
Not yet. Please wake up!
From 3 to 4, I was, in the flight attendant's room, all by my lonesome self. Yeah. And from 5 to 6, I was in the flight attendant's room all by my lonesome self.
How is a man supposed to react to a testimony like that? Miss Meal, wake up!
What?
She fell asleep again. It looks like the only way I'm going to be able to wake her up is by pressing her. Hold it! Miss Meal, wake up!
I'm awake.
Miles Edgeworth, I demand that you do something about this flight attendant this instant! Why ask me to wake her when you can finally put that whip to an appropriate use?
From 3 to 4, I was, in the flight attendant's room all by my lonesome self.
Hold it! If I remember correctly, food was being served in first class in the lounge. Between the hours of 3 and 4 a.m.
Yeah, but that kind of stuff's run by Miss Rhoda.
Then what were you doing in the attendance room at that time?
Eating and then having a most delicious dream.
You mean that you were neglecting your duties?
No way! Sleeping's part of our job too, you know. Oh, yeah.
Hold it! Miss Meal, how many times do I have to repeat myself? Wake up!
I'm awake.
What did you whip me for, sir?
Oh, what did I miss?
A poor detective being on the receiving end of a lash in your stead.
Really? Sorry about that.
You can make amends for that by continuing with your testimony.
And from 5 to 6, I was, in the flight attendant's room all by my lonesome self.
Hold it! So you were alone the entire time, were you?
Yeah, no one else even popped their head in to say hi.
Oh. Well, I think a contradiction just popped in to say hi. What should I do? Should I raise an objection? I do believe... Yeah. Just making sure. Block did have that. Just making sure I have all my facts straight before I go get started. Yes. Miss Meal, there is a clear contradiction embedded in your testimony.
Huh? What are you talking about?
It's not possible that you were alone in the attendance room the whole time from 5 to 6 a.m. You said so yourself. Now take a look at this eye-opening piece of evidence. Miss Meal, I need you to wake up and take a look at this. Enough of this foolishness! Now hurry up and show us the real evidence. I guess this wasn't as eye-opening as I thought.
Did you say something?
Finally awake, are we?
What do you mean? I've been awake this whole time.
Oh, it's alright if you're sleeping, pal.
Pay no mind to the scruffy detective beside you and wake up!
Ah! Hurry up and wake up, Miss Meal! Enough of the clowning around. This is my show, and I will resolve the contradictions as I see fit. Well, I'm going to contradict her. Because there's a contradiction right here. It's possible you were alone in the attendance room the whole time. Ah, right. Wrong key point. The receipt!
Take that!
I wonder if you would be so kind as to take a look at this receipt, Miss Meal.
Huh? Receipt? For what?
It's for a suitcase Miss Ternero bought. Now, if I may direct your attention to the timestamp. As you can see, it clearly says 5:40 a.m. Miss Ternero!
Yes? Huh? Why is the killer here? I thought you'd have her locked up by now.
I requested that she be present as a witness so that we may straighten up your complex lie! Now then, Miss Ternero, between the hours of 5 to 6 a.m., you took a trip from first class down to the first floor in-flight shop, correct?
Yes, I went to the shop to buy a suitcase. After which I went straight to the attendance room to drop it off.
And did you see Miss Meal there at the time?
No.
So, Miss Meal, where were you really between the hours of 5 and 6 a.m.? Miss Cammy Meal!
What? The bathroom?
I'll be the one to ask the questions here.
Yeah, maybe that's it. I probably just missed her. Nature calls, you know.
Do you take me for a fool? That's a little too convenient to be true.
But it's the truth. Cross my heart.
I don't have enough conclusive proof to counter-argue her at this stage.
You don't believe me, do you? Now, please, won't you give me a chance and hear me out?
Well, since you're willing now. Partially.
Look, I know you suspected me because I'm one of the crew. But you'd think that maybe you'd also suspect Miss Rhoda too. She's the one in charge of the elevator keycard in the shop, you know. If you ask me, that makes her super suspicious.
Please leave Miss Ternero out of this conversation. Only you are under suspicion for now.
I don't get it. Why are you covering for Miss Rhoda all of a sudden? Oh, now I get it. Maybe you've got your eye on Miss Rhoda.
Of course I'm keeping an eye on her. I can't very well let her escape, can I?
Never mind. But you want to know something? Miss Rhoda actually is kind of I have absolutely no interest in people who can't appreciate my sense of design.
What? Now is not the time for this sort of talk. Trying to change the subject.
Look, I know you suspect me because I'm one of the crew.
Hold it! No, it's not the only reason I have for suspecting you. Your statements regarding Mr. Hicks also turned out to be a bunch of lies.
How about to say I wasn't the attendant? You wouldn't suspect me then, would you?
Well, yes, I suppose that's true enough.
But you'd think that maybe you'd also suspect Miss Rhoda too.
Hold it! She's already being detained for further questioning, or have you already forgotten?
Oh, yeah, I guess I just forgot. Cammy, don't tell me you suspect me too. Sorry, can't help it. I mean, other than you, there's no one else who could have done it. I can't believe you would think that! I mean, me, a killer?
Miss Meal, what did you mean by just now by no one else who could have done it?
She's the only one in charge of the elevator keycard in the shop, you know.
Hold it.
And what are you in charge of, Ms. Meal?
I take care of the attendance room?
That doesn't count!
Oh, but I spend so much time in there, it might as well be my responsibility. Mr. Edgeworth, Cammy is very talented in languages. She's assisted passengers who may not speak English, especially those who speak Borginian. She's the only one of this flight who's fluent. Oh, you mean that kind of one am I in charge of? Oh, why didn't you say so in the first place?
What else could I have meant?
Yeah, so I'm really good at Borginian.
She's fluent in Borginian. Then I suppose you're in charge of processing documents in Borginian.
Yeah, I take care of anything that has to do with Borginian.
Very interesting.
If you ask me, that makes her super suspicious.
That makes her suspicious. Actually, your on-the-job behavior makes you super suspicious in my eyes.
Huh? Why?
While Miss Tenero is busy with the passengers and all of her other duties, you have a lot of free time on your hands. That's providing you with ample time to commit the crime.
Objection! Miles Edgeworth, I demand that you cease and desist in this line of conjectural questioning. I won't allow you to bluff your way through this like a certain defense lawyer.
But I do not honestly believe Miss Meal does any actual work aboard this flight.
That's not true, Mr. Edgeworth. Although, well, I'm in charge of the attendance rooms and Shumbajini and stuff.
Hold it.
So what exactly do you do as one in charge of some Borginian stuff?
I do stuff like translate things from and into Borginian. Cammy's the only member of the crew who understands Borginian, Mr. Edgeworth.
Mr. Meal, I take it then do you take your job to process all the Borginian paperwork?
Yeah, see, I totally pull my old weight around here.
So it would appear. Perhaps I should ask her for a few more details about her work. And, Miss Meal, it's very unladylike to push suspicion onto someone else.
That's not what I'm doing at all. I'm just saying that Miss Rhoda is very
There you go, pushing everything onto her again.
I don't get what you're saying. That must be a really abstract concept, huh?
The only thing abstract here is the landscape inside your head. Since she is in charge of Borginian stuff, I'd like some more details about this!
Objection.
So, you're the only one in the flight crew that speaks Borginian. Is that correct?
Huh? Oh, yeah, I guess so. I started around Virginia for a while.
If that's the case, then the signature on this document belongs to you, doesn't it? This is a falsified piece of documentation with only one purpose. To lead anyone who read it to believe that Mr. LeBlanc's statue was loaded in Europe. The only person who could have either prepared or processed this document in Borginian is you, Miss Meal. Without your participation, the smuggling of the Aleph Red could not have occurred! Don't sleep while I'm pointing my finger at you!
Oh, I wouldn't dream of falling asleep on you, Mr. Edgeworth. Is this exactly as you said?
Are you confessing to having participated in the smuggling?
No, far from it. It's true that I was the one who signed off on that document. But you can't use that fact alone to make your allegation of smuggling stick. There's no direct correlation, after all. All you have is my signature and a piece of paper.
Really? All you did was sign it?
I neglected to check if the cargo had been loaded on the plane properly. So, sorry about that.
It seems that she's finally woken up. This is going to be one tough fight.
Suppose, and this is just a supposition, even if I was involved in the smuggling, you can't throw the charge of murder on me just like that. Objection! If you were involved in the smuggling, you would have had a strong motive to kill. Agent Hicks was in the middle of an investigation regarding a smuggling ring. And just when he was about to close in, he's killed by a member of that ring. Well, did you ever stop to think that maybe Rhoda is the smuggling ring member? After all, unlike me, Rhoda has access to many things and is playing for work purposes. So perhaps there is some element of a setup at play in this case. What are you talking about? Don't worry, I wasn't talking about you. I meant the killer. First, it was myself, and now it's Miss Tenero who's under the microscope. Seems to me that our killer is going to great lengths to pin this crime on anyone they can. You have no proof that Rhoda is being set up, or that she isn't. Actually, I believe that she was indeed the intended target from the very beginning. I believe that the plan was to push all the blame for the crime onto her. And this evidence will prove my suspicions! This proves that the killer was out to frame Miss Tenero from the very beginning. The one to pin the blame on her was the piggy bank!
Take that!
This piece of evidence will answer all of our questions. Are you sleep presenting or something, Mr. Edgeworth? No, as you can plainly see, I'm wide awake. And I'm afraid you failed. You were making so little sense of it, I thought maybe you were asleep. Talk about Dr. Sleepy, Mr. High-Desk Transformation. Is this it? But wasn't there a piece of evidence that's still unaccounted for? So you stay calm, think carefully, and present the condemning evidence. Oh, yeah. Then something that's more condemning. I'd say that would probably be the suitcase. If she's really asking. The killer could have hidden the body anywhere, and yet they chose the suitcase. Why is that? Perhaps it was to move the body up to the lower deck of the first floor. However, why go through the trouble to do so? The only way all of these actions make sense is if the killer had wanted to frame Miss Tenero for the murder. Miss Tenero buys the suitcases on every flight she works without fail. But should her suitcase be switched with the one containing the victim's body, that would put her in a very tight spot. Unfortunately for the killer, the turbulence put an end to that plan. There wasn't enough time to put the body back into the suitcase. Ergo, they made do with whoever was at hand, adapted their plan, and tried to frame me as I lay unconscious on the floor from the turbulence. The killer then went to hide the suitcase in the in-flight shop, and brought the piggy bank back to the elevator in order to fabricate a false weapon. A lot of work for a fruitless endeavor, wouldn't you agree? Sounds like a killer had a tough time too, huh? I mean, why did the killer need to frame someone that badly anyway? That's because of the special circumstances surrounding this particular case. What special circumstances dictated the need to frame one? That would have to be the where. The special circumstances is simply that the murder took place on a plane mid-flight. No matter which country, customs are quite strict in this day and age. So no matter what you do, the chances that the body will be found is very high. Therefore, there was no choice but to frame either Miss Tenero or myself. In other words, the only one who fits within the boundaries of the criminal's movements is not Miss Tenero or myself. But you, Miss Cammy. Only you and you alone could be the killer. And? Are you done already? I was like about to fall asleep again. Anyway, let's be honest here. You don't have anything on me other than a whole lot of circumstantial evidence. I can see the outline of how the murder occurred, but I have no definitive evidence. And isn't there a piece of evidence that's still unaccounted for? Something that I still can't quite fit into the big picture. Where's the cell phone? I don't have any actual evidence. I thought not. But that's not because it went missing, and still is. Missing? What do you mean by that? In the complex puzzle that is this case, there's one piece I keep getting stuck on. And that is the victim's cell phone. Francisca, you were waiting in the airport for a phone call from Agent Hicks' cell phone. Or at least, that's what you told me. That's right! But Agent Hicks' cell phone could not be found at the crime scene. You mean the killer took the phone with them? Precisely. I suspect that if we were to find that phone, it would lead us to the killer. Come on, get serious. If that victim fell to his death from that height, wouldn't his phone break as well? We won't know until we try a little experiment, will we? Franziska, I'd like to ask for your assistance. You know the victim's phone number, do you not? Of course I do. Ah! Agent Hicks' phone! It's ringing from somewhere, sir! I hear it, Detective. Now where is it coming from? Sounds like the phone is up in the flight attendant's room. Better hurry to the flight attendant's room, sir. It's really loud here. The ring's coming from somewhere in here, sir. Leave no stone unturned, Detective Gumshoe. You must find it. Doesn't seem to be over here. Let's look somewhere else, sir. Doesn't seem like the phone got mixed in with the items on the lost and found pile. Well, it's not like the victim would have just dropped it somewhere, right, sir? No. What if it might be inside the suitcase? I don't hear any sounds going from inside, sir. I don't suppose the culprit would have been so dumb as to try the same trick twice. It's going from in here, sir. What? No, it can't be! It's gotta be the victim's cell phone. Whose locker is it, sir? It's Miss Tenero's. What?! So, Mr. Edgeworth, how'd it go? Where did you find the phone? I found it in the flight attendant's room. In Miss Tenero's locker. What? But... Rhoda Tenero! I don't know anything about the phone! It wasn't me! It wasn't me! Miss Valenkarma, is it? I suggest you arrest Miss Rhoda Tenero right away. Objection! Wait, I have a theory! This is related to the incident with the key card. When the killer went to steal the key card, they conveniently stashed the cell phone in Miss Tenero's locker at the same time. Objection! This is related to the key card, alright. In the same way that we have zero proof that the killer did just that. Ugh. The only voice that sings the truth is evidence. There's the only one bird we cannot ignore. What should I do? Franziska's right. I can't offer baseless conjectures at this point. Alright then. Why did the culprit take the cell phone from Agent Hicks? It must have something very incriminating on it. Or in it. Hold it! What now, Mass Edgeworth? It's not over yet! We have yet to figure out why the killer took the phone. What? Inside this phone lies the final piece of incriminating evidence that will point us to our killer. We need to examine this phone in more detail. The LCD is broken. Without a screen, you can't even place a call on this. That's my camera, though. It's a camera lens! Come to think of it, I wonder, how exactly was Agent Hicks planning to preserve the crime scene of the smuggling? Franziska, I need you to confirm something. This cell phone, can it take pictures? Mr. Edgeworth, I can't believe you don't know about this kind of basic stuff, sir. This looks like a very similar model to my own. And mine can take photos just fine. Do you think Agent Hicks could have taken some pictures with this? In particular, pictures as evidence for his smuggling case? If so, I'd say there may be some very inconvenient photos in here for our killer smuggler. But the phone's all busted up, sir. Even a super prosecutor can't repair a broken phone. Ugh. I'll find a way, don't you worry about that. May I go back to my seat now? Objection! The LCD screen on the inside and outside are broken, that's for sure. But that's also reason enough to believe that the killer wasn't able to erase the data.
What? What do you mean by that, Francisca?
It looks like our killer isn't very familiar with electronics. This phone still rang when I called it, meaning that only the LCD screens are broken. It's possible that the photos are still in there inside waiting to be accessed. All we need now is to transfer the data to my phone.
Francisca, your phone, if you please.
Very well. It's transferring. Alright, displaying it now.
This!
Agent Hicks was most certainly trying to obtain this evidence in a smuggling case.
Hey! The Alfred's nowhere in this pic, sir!
But this has no meaning as a piece of evidence in the murder case, right?
Oh, she's right. Not much we can find out from this about Agent Hicks' killer, sir. Is this it? Is this the end? Is there really nothing in this photo that we can use? Actually, there's one thing that's bothering me. What are these? What's all this?
Oh, they are cargo ships from Borginia de Zengfa.
So the reason they aren't here now is that they were dropped off in Zangfa. LeBlanc, can you tell me what the contents of these boxes? Unfortunately, there is no English written on them anywhere.
Oh, one cluster of boxes is written in Borginian. It says Boro Boro. It means cloth in English.
Cloth? Could it be? Is this where the killer...
What? What? What is it for that skinny face?
Miss Meal.
Yeah?
It appears that Agent Hicks was no ordinary investigator. He left us with a piece of evidence after all. A striking piece that will point out who the killer is.
Ha! Maybe you shouldn't force your mistaken readings of a simple picture, Mr. Edgeworth.
The Borginian cargo in this piece of evidence point us straight to the killer. This rag. Cloth.
And what is that supposed to prove?
The killer used this piece of cloth to wipe off the blood they had spilt. There should be one thing that bothered me this whole time. Where did it come from? And now I finally found his answer in the very photo. This cargo that had been unloaded in Zangfa had cloth written on it. In Borginian, that is. And this is where the killer grabbed a piece from to clean up the blood with. That's right! The killer was someone who could read and understand Borginian. And the only crew member that fits that description is you, Miss Camille.
Hold it! That's pretty flimsy. The killer probably searched through all the boxes looking for something to use. When you're frantic, you don't care if the box is in English or Borginian.
Objection! Sorry, but I cannot agree with your assessment of that killer's incriminating nature.
What?
There is no need for the killer to tear through boxes at random at all. If the killer supposedly could not comprehend Borginian, well then... Logically, the killer would have opened this box first. Take that! Hey, it says bedsheets in English right in the box, sir! Precisely. And bedsheets would be perfect for cleaning up blood, wouldn't you say?
Hold it! So what are you trying to say?
That if I were the criminal, this box of bedsheets would have been what I would have spotted first.
However, the killer chose to use some Borginian cloth. Do you have an explanation for that?
The killer didn't want anyone to know that the real scene of the crime was this cargo hold. So they were afraid to leave signs of the box where the sheets had been opened. However, the Borginian cloth, well, that's a horse of a different color.
Because the killer knew that it was going to be unloaded in the Republic of Zangfa?
That's right. This is why the Borginian cloth was used. And the only Borginian reader on board who could make such a calculated decision is you, Camille! You and you alone!
No!
It would be very easy for us to confirm if any of the boxes were resealed. All we have to do is contact the Zangfa authorities in time. We may even find other evidence to incriminate the killer within those boxes. So, what do you say, Miss Meal? Why not confess to your crime here and now? Or would you rather wait and see what we find out from our investigation in Zangfa?
No. 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 He was Interpol. I couldn't stop it. I brought him here. He started taking pictures. I couldn't be found out. I was scared. I was in trouble.
Finish making all the arrangements to take the suspect in, sir. Very good, detective. What about the smuggling route? Did she say anything about that? They're taking her down to the precinct now. Hopefully we can get more out of her there. Whenever we even approached the topic, she just started foaming at the mouth. It is scary, sir. She probably wasn't prepared to commit a murder all of a sudden. One thing is for sure, the ring behind the whole mess means serious business. It looks like there's a lot more to this case than meets the eye.
Mr. Edgeworth? I just wanted to say how much I appreciate everything you did. Thank you very much.
It was nothing. In fact, I should be the one thanking you for your cooperation.
But truly, if it wasn't for you, I might not be here right now. Instead, I can continue to serve the passengers as a flight attendant. I hope that, well, please accept this as a token of my appreciation.
That's...
I see. You don't have to take it if you don't want it.
No, I mean, I would never turn down a lady's generous offer.
Oh, thank you. I'm sure it will serve you well. And remember, we here at iFly Airlines are always ready to serve, Mr. Edgeworth.
Thank you. I'll keep that in mind.
Now I must bid you farewell. May all your skies be blue no matter where you go.
Can't believe we wound up investigating the whole day, sir. But boy, was it fun. Speak for yourself. My day was filled with earthquakes, elevators, and false charges. By the way, where's Francisca? Oh, she's filling out some customs paperwork for her departure. Departure? Yeah, Ms. Von Carmen is always really busy, sir. She's been flying from country to country to chase down some leads regarding her case. Detective, can you cancel the car I had you reserve earlier? You got it, sir. Francisca.
I thought I told you when you first landed. I have no time for idle chatter.
I have no intention of wasting your time. However, it has been a while since we last met.
I also have no time for such familiar reminiscences. Just who do you think I am?
You're Francisco Von Karma, a very proud prosecutor deserving of much respect.
Until only a little while ago, I was but a wretched mutt who was always losing to you. A dancing pirouette, living her life on a name and fame her invincible father built.
True, your father, Manfred Von Karma, didn't lose a single case for 40 years as a prosecutor. However, I wouldn't say he was invincible.
What are you talking about? The group I'm on the trail of is a little more troublesome than most. The smuggling route we found this time is only one sliver of the big picture.
Sounds like a dangerous assignment.
You really don't have to worry. I can take care of myself.
Yes, I suppose you can.
Plus, there's another agent in this case with me.
Oh, another agent.
He's a star among Interpol agents and is the highest successful arrest rate. Who knows, you may even run into him one day.
I was simply caught up in this one case. I hardly see why we would cross paths.
I suppose. But I doubt he would say the same.
I'm not following you.
You'll understand soon enough. The fight has only just begun, Miles Edgeworth. I'll be back in this country soon enough. And when I am, you can be sure I'll pay you back. In full.
I don't know what that means in her context. Just like that, she's gone, huh, sir? Thank goodness. I was finally rest easy knowing I ought to watch out for a whip. Detective Gumshoe, I want to thank you for all your help and cooperation. Oh, it was nothing, sir. I was just happy to be able to work with you again. I think I'm gonna celebrate by adding a little extra salt to my instant noodles tonight. Just how much did you cut his salary by, Francisca? Detective, I was wondering if you might give me a ride down to the prosecutor's office. Sure thing, sir. I'll even fly down the road to the patrol car if you want. Don't make me remind you, Detective. Safety first. Thus, I solved the first case upon my arrival home. Francisca von Karma, the smuggling route she was after. The leaders of that ring were already put their trump card into play. And the players on the other side of this war, they would begin to make themselves known through the next incident. Edgeworth speaking. Ah, finally. I called who knows how many times earlier and I couldn't get through. Ah, and you are? Have you forgotten my voice, Miles, my boy? Mr. Romano! Ernest Romano, correct? So you do remember me. I know it's rather sudden, but I just can't ask this from anyone else. There's been an incident, Miles. My son, he's been kidnapped. And with no time to lose, on to the next case. This is Miles Edgeworth Investigations. This is Louis 64D. I'll see you next time. Dealing with a kidnapping. Oh boy!